Obviously, KD is back. Kyrie's out here making some crazy moves, and he's also dunking the basketball as of a few nights ago. My question to you is, can they keep this up at this clip? And will they be one of the first teams in NBA history, like we talked about prior to the episode? Will they be the first team to literally have to outshoot everyone in order to go down this path to the finals?
I think they can. And I don't really care who they have on the court, because when you look at this season so far, the amount of games that Kevin, Kyrie, and James have been on the court has been very little. And yet they're still succeeding very easily. Like, if you look at their last 10 games, they're 8-2. They're at the top of the Eastern Conference. It was about time that they actually took that first seed over the 76ers. I'm surprised it took them this long. I thought they would have been able to get the first seed a little bit quicker. But with that said, though, it's just the one thing that you have to kind of worry about this team moving forward is their defense. Because the one thing about the regular season is you're going to be able to score. You could look at Milwaukee for the last couple of years. Milwaukee could score. Giannis can go out there and get, 30, 35 points on a regular basis during the regular season. Now, when it comes to the playoffs, though, the intensity of the game changes, the pace of the game changes, and you're going to have your best players play up to snuff if you want to get farther into the playoffs. With Kyrie, James, and KD, I expect them to go out and compete like they always have. These guys are championship contending players, championship caliber players. I know James hasn't been to a finals, but he has a very good shot to get there this year. You got KD, who's one of the most skilled shooters that we've ever seen. You got Kyrie, who's one of the best handlers, if not the best handler in the game. And James is just a knockdown shooter wherever you place him on the court. I think the additions that Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge bring, I think they're going to be solid because they add some depth. And Blake has actually looked pretty good so far. He does look like he has some bounce in his step. And who knows, could Blake be kind of a surprise going into the playoffs where he could go out and maybe average 15 points a game if he looks to be healthy? He looks great right now. So I wouldn't expect anything less from him moving forward, and especially in the playoffs. And with LaMarcus Aldridge, look, his defense isn't probably the best asset to his game, but he can go out there and get you a good 10, 15 points just shooting those 15 to 20-foot mid-range jump shots. And he's going to be a solid presence down low. Granted, he's not going to be like, Andre Drummond, getting, 15 rebounds a game, but he's going to be a solid presence for them down low. So then you look across the board on the rest of the team. Joe Harris has been consistent the entire year. DeAndre Jordan's been iffy, but even with that said, though, I'm not really worried about Brooklyn in the regular season. I think they're going to finish as the number one team in the Eastern Conference. It's just whether or not that they could actually hold this up in the playoffs, because their defense is going to get tested in the playoffs. And can they actually still go out and score the way that they have been when it counts in these playoff games? I would tend to say yes, just because of the veteran leadership that Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving bring. And then when you add in the depth players like LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, I mean, that's tough to beat. And I don't know if there's a team in the Eastern Conference that's deep enough to actually go up against them and win 4 games in a 7-game series. That's a tall task for teams like Philly and Milwaukee. And to me, those are really the only 2 teams that have a decent shot at beating Brooklyn this year. I don't think Miami can do it. I don't know if they have the pieces to go out and do it like they did last year to get to the finals again. But I realistically only see maybe the Bucks and the 76ers really giving the Nets a run for their money here.